Hi, it's Milton Kane, Christian Democratic Party candidate for the federal seat of Newcastle. The environment is a very good subject to deal with. We need to protect it. We need to see what we can do to sort it out. There are many things that we do and we plan and we say we're going to do to protect the environment. We build bigger roads. We see that we are building expressways and all those sorts of things. And yet at the same time, what we are diminishing our rail transport. It seems to me that rail transport will in fact be far better for the environment than it will be for road transport. Some people will say to me, but hang on a minute, we've got this huge investment in these vehicles, and so be it. I suggest to you that the wise way to carry things is purely and simple. If we load our products onto semi-trailers, and those trailers can be put onto the trains and transported in that way. Perhaps if we have transport hubs, for example, let's have a look at things. At Port Botany, we have a traffic problem in trying to get things in and out of the place there. So, what we can do is extend our rail so that the majority of our freight that goes to Port Botany is taken to perhaps the area, Eastern Creek area, where we have high-speed roads. We could also run from there rail services that will take the freight around the country. Now, if the freight is sorted, if put on the rail line and is sorted at Eastern Creek, then it can be put onto semi-trailers, etc. Those trailers can be then loaded onto a train, onto a flatbed train, and taken into the regional area that is necessary. Hence, that will get the heavy trucks off of our major highways. That will make it far better for transport around the place. And the only ones needing to use the road service from Eastern Creek will be those deliveries that are somewhere close to that particular area. If we did that, we would actually cut down on the cost of transport if we designed our freight fees by rail at an efficient level. One of the things that has happened in the past, and it's important to remember, the fact that the reason why we see all our petrol tankers nowadays on the road carting fuel was the fact that a government in the past decided, wow, what we can do, we can make a whole bunch of money. We will increase the freight charges for the rail service of taking the fuel around the country. And so now we have the tankers on the road. From time to time, they come to grief and there's a fiery explosion when these vehicles come to grief. This is not really acceptable at all. It would be wise to get those vehicles back on the track. Rail can serve a very good purpose if it's done well. We also need to make sure that we actually, when we have our rail transport, that we do it well. One of the things that we do is we don't do it well, particularly when we carry coal around the place. I found it very interesting that essentially the same design of wagon is used to carry our various grains. They're all covered. Not a problem. They're designed to be able to be covered. They are filled with the covering on. They're emptied with the covering on. Well, it can happen. But for some reason or other, it's impossible to do it to a coal wagon. It's going to be astronomically expensive. It's not going to work, and the sky will fall in. Well, I'm sorry. The health concerns around our rail corridors, where coal is transported, suggest to me that there is a connection between ill health and uncovered coal being transported by rail. I'm not a medico. I can't prove the direct link, but I can tell you this much. People who live in that corridor do suffer more ill health than the rest of the population. There is something there. And I think it's wise that we put into place a program to make sure it works. You see, when we do things, we need to make sure that we do them so that we don't destroy somebody else's life, we don't destroy their health, we don't destroy the life of the planet, we don't destroy more than we need. Yes, we should use our planet well, and we must. But at the same time, we need to make sure that we do the best that we can. I do not know the full implications of precisely what the difference would be of the consumption of fossil fuels for rail service as opposed to the road service, but I would suspect that we will probably use less fossil fuels, taking our transport to the main areas by rail rather than by road. That's worth a thought. I would like to see the expansion of our rail services because I think it's a good thing to do for all concerned. It means that there's less time that people will be waiting in a queue somewhere to get to some place because they need to go there by road. And they're competing with all of the goods being carted around this country on the road. Very interesting, one particular company transports their stuff from Sydney to Perth by rail. If they can afford to do it, why can't the others? I think it is quite possible that it will make transport even somewhat cheaper. The more you put on there, the more likely to bring the price down. Okay, that's the beginning of my concerns for the environment. I have many other issues too. We need to be able to remember the most important thing when it comes to the environment. We are to use what we do, but not to abuse. We need to make sure that when we use something, we don't destroy what's left. We need to be careful. Our place, our planet, is a wonderful place. It's capable of being able to correct our many mistakes that we make. But we should not push the envelope so far that we damage the place, and it will never be able to recover. We don't do a very good job at present. We can do far better. And I'm suggesting to you that I care about the environment, and the way I care is that we use it, we don't abuse it, we look after it. I have been given the authority by God to care for the planet. And that's exactly the mandate that I work on, to care for the planet. And that's what I want to do. If you want someone to care for the place, but not to lock it up so no one can ever use it again, you need me as your spokesman in the Commonwealth Parliament. Thank you.